What's good, everybody? We got a new podcast. It's called the Bad Movie Crew, BMC. I am your host, Neil. He is your host, my best friend, Mark.
What's up,
And
people? What's up?
what is the Bad Movie Crew? So, the Bad Movie Crew, for many years, many years, Mark and I have been watching movies with some other friends. We can get into that as the podcast goes on. But basically, we've been watching and critically commenting on anything within pop culture. Starting with movies, we've watched some really bad movies over the years, but it not only speaks to movies. We can start off with something slight, something small. We tried a preamble to this, where we reviewed a movie that came out earlier this year, 2021, but we try to be we try to be Siskel and Ebert with it,
Yeah, that,
and
that
that
ain't gonna
that
work. That
yeah,
that that, that ain't working.
damn we. So anyhow, Mark, who are we reviewing? We're reviewing today.
Masters of the Universe by
Ah,
Kevin Smith and Netflix.
right. So Masters of the Universe, you can see Mark's face. Mark already got he got a lot to say about it. But Masters of the Universe is a sequel to the Filmation um, series He-Man and the Masters of the Universe from the 80s, 83 to 85, I think it was.
Yeah.
Mark and I would have grown up on that. It was special and dear to our hearts. So obviously, when we heard that Kevin Smith and Netflix, but when we heard Netflix was doing it, and then Kevin Smith being a producer on it, executive producer, we were all excited because we thought Kevin Smith was one of us, one of the fans. But you know, is it,
We,
you
we
know,
get to that as well.
we can get to that. Mar, how you feel about the series, man? What is your take on it? And I just want your take on it. We can get into finer points. Oh, before we go on, spoiler alert. So if you have not watched him, if you will not watch Master of the Universe, the new Netflix series, and you're interested in it and you don't want it spoiled, pause here, go watch it, and you could always, or you could favorite this, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and you could come back and watch this. But yeah, spoilers. Right, Mark. So, what did you think of Masters of the Universe Revelation?
Hot garbage.
Hot garbage. All
Hot
right.
garbage.
Hot
There, there,
garbage.
there are some, some points in it. So there are some good things in it. Like the voice acting was on point. I think every voice actor brought their own unique spin to it, and they perform well in their roles. My only little gripe in that area is I don't know if this is more producers or more the fact that I think anytime I hear Mark Hamill, I hear the Joker.
Hmm.
Like I when he was playing the Skeletor, like when he started to talk, like in the later episodes, I was like, I'm hearing Joker. So I don't know if that's a mindset because I know it's Mark Hamill or
All
if
right.
that
Not,
was something that
not so fast. Not so fast. We could get
oh
there. We could get there. But I do agree with that, Mark Hamill. He every time I heard him, I heard I heard the
Joker.
Joker, the animated Joker. I heard even when he says at the end of it, he said Lenny or something like that instead of
Yeah,
Evelyn. Right,
yeah,
that comes over as a Joker thing. So it was very much
yeah.
the Joker, and I'm even wondering because I know Kevin Smith is a huge fan of the animated series of Batman and that kind
Yeah.
of thing. I was even wondering if he was directed to do that and be that.
Right.
But
That's
regard,
right. That's why I'm saying like my gripe is more like it was it something purposely done or is it more because we've been know you've almost been conditioned to know that the Joker is Mark Hamill. So
yeah.
he's done it in he's done it in various Batman games. He's been a voice in the animated series, couple
Hmm.
of the movies. So like I said, but that wasn't a really a big drawback for me. The voice acting was very well, very well.
I glad you bring up the voice acting, right? Because we had people like we had Mark Hamill, as we said before, Sarah Michelle Gellar. We had Lena Headey from Game of Thrones. She was
Mhm.
also joined by Liam Cunningham, who was also in Game of Thrones. You have Stephen Root, Tony Todd, Kevin Conroy. He is, the voice of Batman in Batman the Animated Series. Justin Long. He had an actor that has a career voice actor, Phil Lamar, who was also, I think it was Matt TV.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
Dennis
TV.
Dennis Haysbert, who is the All-State man. You're in good hands with All-State, that deep voice man.
Also known as God in Lucifer.
God in Lucifer. I never watched Lucifer. And Jason Mewes, who is also Kevin Smith's running mate when it comes to Jay and Silent Bob. He is Jay. Kevin Smith is also obviously Silent Bob. But regardless, the voice cast is very heavy, right? Like, this is not a fly by night production. This is a production that has meat on its bones, right? Like, you can look
Yeah,
at the animation was well done too. Like, it was
yeah,
well
that yeah.
drawn. It
There
was
was
well
a
drawn.
slight nod to the '80s cartoons as well. Like I said, animation, the voice acting was good. Animation was good. I those things I cannot take away from it. Those
Yeah,
are just those are just things that I will give to the series.
yeah. Animation was good. 20 minutes, 25 minutes around there per episode. The sound was really good. Everything like from a production standpoint, you can tell that there was a lot of thought and effort going into making sure that this is the best it can be for a series that has a legacy like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So we sing its praises. Mar obviously want to get at it. So
Oh,
Mar, let us know what were the negatives for you. Let's start there. What?
you see, you just encapsulated it perfectly. Sorry,
Mm,
they spent all their this time. They did their due diligence in getting the cast, the animation, making the production side of it look be on point.
tip top.
But when it came to the story,
Oh my goodness.
oh my goodness, like okay, so you do everything on one side good, and then just come when it comes to the actual thing that's going to drive people to want to watch it,
Hmm.
you just lay an egg. I mean,
Okay, so
if
what was wrong with the story? Let us know what you had.
okay, my first thing is all right. So obviously, like you said, we would have been hearing rumors of they want to continue the series.
Hmm.
So they called it Masters of the Universe, and after watching it and all the little things you were hearing before, I see why they did it.
Hmm.
But my thing is,
Let's spell it out, man. Spell it
If you
out,
say
man.
Masters of the Universe,
Hmm.
if I poll anybody from the 80s that watched it
Hmm.
and say Masters of the Universe, I
Right.
can guarantee you, if I tell them name three characters, I can guarantee you that Tila is not called in those three. It's gonna it's gonna be
I,
He-Man. It's gonna be some combination of He-Man and Skeletor at one. Because if you're a villain, you can call Skeletor first,
you
then you
might
can
call
call
both.
He-Man.
You might call both.
You can right. It's always gonna be He-Man and Skeletor as the first two.
Hmm.
That third one, I can almost guarantee you, you will hear Battle Cat, you will hear Sorceress, you might get Man at Arms, you might even get the Castle Grayskull as
You
the
might get
third character.
you might get a Tila here and there, but not to the
Yes,
point
but
where.
but it's not gonna be the majority of it. No,
Hmm.
before somebody get any comments and call me misogynistic and sexist, I have zero issue with you having a series about Tila.
Hmm.
But name it Tila. Come right out and say,
But
hey, let's we're making a show about Tila and let the fans decide how they feel about it.
that's
Don't
I think.
say
But
don't say
hold.
it's this, don't say it's this, and then so oh well no it's just this is what it is.
But you
That's
see,
bullshit.
but that's probably it, because Tila was such a lesser known character and
But
almost a
she
secret.
wasn't.
Hold on a
But she
minute.
wasn't.
Hold on.
She had her own. She had her own. There were a few episodes that were Tila centric back in the 80s, and she already had an established arc storyline. If you wanted to make it about Tila, you could have explored the relationship between the sorceress and her because it's been hinted throughout the 80s that that's her
That's her
mother.
mother. Yeah.
You could have they even hinted it in this new series.
Right.
You could have gone that story.
Hmm.
But now you want to come and effectively replace Adam with Tila in this women is everything, we are so powerful world. I made Tila He-Man, but you are now essentially to make that happen, her the motivation for it made absolutely no sense.
All right.
There were some dumb things that happened in this series. I'll be like, within the first 5 minutes of the show, I was like, but that makes no sense.
First things first, my opinion on it is I don't necessarily mind Tila being the protagonist, right? Simply because, as you said, there are because I used to think that Sorceress and Mata Terms, her father, I thought they had a
Father
little
adopted.
father, right?
Right?
But I
He took care of her.
right, but somehow I figured that something was going on there, and whatever, right?
There was still some looks.
Yeah, yeah, we're going on, Papi. I remember you. That kind of stuff. But I don't. You see, with Tila being it makes sense from the standpoint of if you take because you need someone that is vulnerable and a leader or protagonist, right? And there was no other character in there that can be that. Like you had, there was you take out He-Man. Obviously, Man of Terms could not be the hero because he's old. he is not vibrant. He is not for the kids, right? You have obviously the king and queen. You have the sorceress. You have Cringer, Oracle. All of the protagonists of the series. Sorry, all of the potential protagonists of the series outside of He-Man. All of the good guys. Tila is the one that made sense. She's young. She's exuberant. She has a lot of courage. She has little fear. She is aggressive, and because she was brought up under her adoptive father, Man at Arms, or Duncan, as he's called in the series, we see that she has that fire in her. So if you were to take up a responsibility out of the established cast there, you're not gonna get Evelyn, you're not gonna get any of the bad guys.
Hold on, Rasta.
All right.
Hold on, Rasta.
Mm.
All of that you just said describing Tila, right?
Mm.
That's the Tila we got in this series.
But I'm not done, Let me finish.
I just wait till you hold on, Rasta.
Let me finish.
Did we get that Tila in this series?
But let me finish.
Okay, all right.
That's me explaining why I think Tila was it made sense to go with Tila if you are. Again, I have to say this. This is 5 episodes. This is not the full story arc. So as it stands now, Tila is the protagonist of the first 5 episodes. We don't know what's gonna happen in the rest of the series, but anyhow, anything here would be speculation. But anyhow, here's where I think Mark and I will agree that the story falls apart, right? Because the motivations for the characters are
dumb.
Let's hold on. All right, hold on. Let's start from the overarching thing. The motivation for some of these characters, Evelyn turning good. Yes, it made sense because she's a sorceress.
Exactly.
And she needs magic too to survive, and she understands the stakes needed. But every step of the way, like just the way she's good now. And they kind of take a woman with evil in her name and say, oh yeah, she's one of we know. And then it to me is like at least give me a little. I don't know, man. It felt heavy handed, like you were setting up for the big demise. And I can get into why this works, because we can gripe about it as two men over 40 that have watched the original series. We can talk about it, but then I'm gonna also explain why I think this works for this generation. So, Evelyn, I understand her motivations. Sorceress, I kind of understand her motivation. Duncan, I understand his motivation. Well, not his motivation.
He had no motivation.
No, it was brought to light to Tila, who did not know that Adam was He-Man. She found out that Adam was He-Man, and she felt betrayed. She felt as though everybody that she's ever cared about lied to her. Adam is her best friend, lied to her. Her father lied to her. King and Queen, that she was in service of the realm, lied to her. Cringers, sorcerers, everybody lied to her. She's the only boy that didn't know. And she, with her teenage angst, shaves off half her hair and starts to roam the world as a mercenary. All right, that's a bit weak sauce, because or you feel betrayed or whatever. But let's say it works. Let's say you know what, when it's Lars, I'm done with this. They go to her, Mark, and they say, Tila, I know it's been some time, a few years, but the realm ain't got no magic. I know you don't believe in magic no more. You think we're Lars, but we need your help in retrieving these 2 swords, putting them together, forging them, and making this sword so we can get back magic in the realm. If not, Eternia dies, we all die, universe dies, we dead and gone. Tila says what, Mark? What was Tila's response to this?
The woman said that, no, I'm done with that. Don't believe it, don't care.
The woman said, don't believe it, don't care. Magic is an outdated thing. And one can argue, right? I know there are going to be some people in the comments saying, oh, but they lied to her about He-Man. They could be lied to. Why would sorcerers have a reason to lie to her about something that big? Like, to me, I feel as though the whole, even if they had teased like a possibility of bringing back Adam, if they teased the possibility that he could be brought back, you know what I mean? Like, I could understand that being a driving force for her to say, yes, I would do it, or no, I don't want to do it, or you know what I mean, or even if, but for her to say straight up, the universe at stake, we could all dead, nah, to hell with that.
And then the thing that bothers me about that is that it's not even they don't even really have to do much convincing to get her then to go on this to go get the swords. All it takes is for her friend to say, well, yeah, I bought it. I going for this. I going on this quest. because really and truly it's an RPG. We can do side quests and everything.
Oh yeah.
So we can do this. And the woman was like, all right, well, I'll go anywhere if you want you going. I'm like, so then why did you say no in the first place if your friend can tell you, yeah, I roll in, so let
Yeah,
me
I did.
roll. The motivations made no sense.
The motivations made no sense to me. The first, no, granted, there's only 5 episodes. I think there's supposed to be 5 more coming later.
Yeah.
Right. So this is essentially half a season, and things are moving pretty quickly here. Right. A lot of things are resolved. Well, not
But
resolved, but
I won't go back to something you were saying earlier, and I don't know if you plan to get to it later. But to me, Evelyn made the most. You were saying Evelyn made the most sense of the characters so far.
mhm.
To me, she was the only person that I guess they sat down and thought out of what they want her to be, how they want her to be.
So you
Because
say, I mean, all of them. To be fair, they probably thought about all the characters too. Let me be honest. We don't.
well, so far
Right.
in these 5 episodes, she is the only person that had the
Not
most
making sense.
that made the most sense in anything. Because like you said, she needs magic, sorcerers need magic, so it makes sense that she wants to put these swords back together.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see even in this episode 3 or 4, when they're in Subternia.
4.
4, when she's with Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
You can see growth. You can see a character arc. You can see her come to the realization, I'm not necessarily evil. Yeah? Like, so I'm like, all right, cool. I can get behind that. Because you're doing the whole kind of doing like the whole redemption arc. And that's fine. You want to say because of Skeletor, you give it you dreams and you more followed his, and that's a whole nother level of bullshit, but whatever. So you there's no longer Skeletor, so no, you can't be who you really want to be. But obviously there's this stigma to who you are of being Evelyn. So you go through these 4.5 episodes of trying to get back magic because yeah, your life depends upon it, but you're also opening up and you form a bond with Oracle, which is probably the most unlikely pairing you could come up with in a Masters Universe.
Again, the reason why I don't knock it is because I can get to who this for, or I can get to that because it makes sense when I tell you
But
who this is for and what it's trying to do.
but
It can make sense.
my
in
issue here
opinion.
now is that you upended all of that with the cliffhanger of episode 5. Like she spent four
But
and a half episodes of she spent 4.5 episodes of saying
I don't even mind that.
it,
I can tell you why.
but please
Go.
please
Good.
tell me because to
Because
me
watch. Because watch, right? Evelyn is evil. She does evil things. For all intents and purposes, she was essentially Skeletor's concubine, right? You know, or it's for children, so probably not concubine, but yeah, right? But magic is gone. Her own selfish needs. She needs magic to survive, so she needs these two swords to get back together. She helps the good guys. They form a tense alliance. And over time, you do see, especially in episode 4 with Oracle, that whole scene of a redemption. She's starting to care. You see
Yeah.
the looks. She's starting to be sympathetic and empathetic in certain regards. And then at the end, her heel turn because, again, spoiler alert, Skeletor does come back. Adam does come back. Skeletor was hiding out in Evelyn's staff. He comes back and tells Evelyn to join her again. She has this look of, I was tricked, I was duped, but I was really starting to like these guys. And then she goes
all
with
right, sorry about
Skeletor.
that. And she even says, well, I was starting to like you guys. Ayo,
But you see, the reason why I don't have a problem with that, right, is because we don't know what's coming. If this was the end of season 1, right? And I don't even, I somehow feel, and I could be wrong, we could look back at this and I could be the fool, but I think what's going to happen is Evelyn is going to go with Skeletor, and Skeletor, because at the end Skeletor does have the sword of power, he becomes the
Master of the
champion,
Universe.
the master of
Skelly God as the toy is called.
yeah, Skelly God, right? No, Skelly God is all
I just
powerful.
want to know. That sounds like something that Elephant Man will come
I
to.
was just about to
Let's
say,
move on.
Sounds like, no, it actually sounds like the Gully. You know, Gully God,
Yeah.
Skelly God. But yeah, so yeah, so it seems as though we have Skeletor now being a big bad. He is obviously a threat to subjugate the entire realm. Evelyn may be the only one that could be either sweet, because remember she and Orko formed a bond and Orko died. So I feel that is going to come back to bring her back to the good side. I think that she is going to be the linchpin to kind of to help play a part in bringing down Skeletor. So I actually think that what's going to happen is, yeah, right now she like, yeah, I didn't care about one anyhow, why evil, and then she's gonna go and then through some act she's going to be reminded of Orko's sacrifice and about how she has grown in her redemption arc, and she can be like, yeah, Skeletor, this ain't it, and probably, help
But
taking him down.
like, okay, I have no problem with what you were saying, but it could have been executed a hell of a lot better.
Oh well, the execution
Because
of this was
the woman just was like, all right, roll out.
but that's why
Like
saying
if there was like say some battle, like if there was like okay some hesitancy from Evelyn where she like tried to challenge Skeletor and he like knocks you out and was like, like, oh, you're hanging out with these good ones too long,
but you
boom,
see,
come on, go so.
but you see,
And then she decide, then that's what kind of motivates her to then say, well, you know what, Skeletor this in the way or whatever. That'd be more acceptable. But the woman, you spent 4 episodes trying to show this woman's
good side.
redemption. Then to blow it up, then you gonna want me as the audience to then
But you
sympathize
see,
with her
but you,
again.
but you see, that is exactly it, and this brings us back now to who this is for. This ain't for me and you. You are not you're not the target audience. This is
Okay,
for
Sammy who?
no. Here's what I'm saying. Hear me
Sammy
out.
who?
This is for children. This is for children. Let me explain. The original He-Man was for us as kids. We were what, 4 or
Yeah.
5? We watched
Mhm.
He-Man. We don't want to rumble. We boxers and hold. I have the power with the sword, right? This is for a similar generation. This is for a target audience of about 5 to about 7, 8, 9, and their attention span is not all of that. You ain't got 20 episodes to fill up nothing. But in our time, they literally used to make a He-Man every day. 5 days a week, they used to make a He-Man episode and they used to show. Children ain't got that sort of time because they got too many things to compete for. I think this is for the children. That will explain why the humor is so terrible, but it's gonna work for a 7, 8-year-old. I think the reason why there are certain characters in it, like Teela's psychic, where there's the whole silliness of the villains, and there's no real main antagonist throughout the whole endeavor. It is a fetch quest. I think this is for the us from the 80s. This is for their generation. In 2021, a 6, 7, 8-year-old, this is for them. This is not for us.
So then wait, okay. So if that is the case, why was it marketed as a more mature for a more mature audience?
Well, no, but you see,
that's all they were saying. That's all you was hearing leading up to it. If that was never in the marketing, I would give you that. But all you heard leading up to this, it's for a more mature crowd. It deals with more mature themes. It handles death to certain characters, yada yada. That's all you're hearing leading up to this here. So this is where I give your logic a thumbs down. That ain't for
But no,
not for children.
Hold on.
I thought you were going with another direction of who it was for, and I had a counter. But we'll save that for another time.
But here's the tune. Chuno. Here's where I can even double down on what I was saying who is for, because I think the marketing was done to get the children to watch it. You understand? To kind of reel us in with the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And then we bring our children and we watch and we like, here, son, here, daughter. Because that's why I feel partly too why Teela is there, because Teela is to bring in the young ladies, bring in the children. Hold on.
Then
what?
Then what you got She-Ra for? You have She-Ra.
Hold on.
Hold on.
You have She-Ra, but
Netflix just did She-Ra. Netflix just reboot She-Ra, and it followed the same exact beats as Shira from the 80s. If you have Shira and you want to have a powerful, strong female character to empower little girls, you have Tila. Why are you with him, man? Leave it be.
But
You
because
you have Tila.
but
You just did over Tila.
money.
Kevin Smith.
Right, so
Yeah.
that has been our review of Masters of the Universe. We can rate this out of Power Swords. So out of five,
Five being the more out of five.
yeah, out of five being the most, none being none. How many Power Swords you rate this, Mark?
1.5.
1.5 Power
Because
Swords.
I like the animation. I like the voice acting. But yeah, that and the yeah, that's about all I really like. The animation and the voice acting. Because like we said at the beginning, they put thought into the voice acting, the production, the animation, the behind the scenes, behind the scenes work was well thought of. That so I would have to give it a 1.5 Power Swords.
Right. I would give it 2.5 Power Swords simply because this is half of the series, the season, sorry, and we don't know what's going on. Like you, I praise the voice acting, the production, and just, the creativity that went into it. However, the motivations kind of suck. Understanding that it's for children, and we don't know what's the full season going to be like. So, at the end of the day, we could come back a few months later and I think that is the greatest series on Netflix. So 2.5 Power Swords from me. Guys, thank you so much for watching the first episode of BMC, the Bad Movie Crew. You can like, comment, share, do all of them sort of things, and we can try to keep this going. So, yeah.
If you have anything that you want us to, if you feel you got anything you want us to review, hit us in the comments. We'll try to get to them as soon as we can.
Yeah. Peace and love, and we going.